being joined by the world champion. So let's get his thoughts on this moment. Magnus, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations for the difficult day.
Yeah.
Before we get into the game, have to say that when the match ended, it looked like you were extremely relieved and the tension had been really high. Just your overall impressions of how today went?
Well, in general, I'm really happy with the way that I played. But I guess I'll take it, and I'll try and play better tomorrow. But yeah, the tension certainly was very high, especially after entering the third game.
Magnus, can I just ask you if you can adjust your sound? I don't think we're able to hear you very well. There's something not.
Okay, I'll.
Yeah,
This is better.
Yes, thank
Much
you.
better.
Magnus, we have this position up. We're going to just ask you, and I can imagine it's been a very long, tiring day. Just some quick questions because there were some critical moments. Just going to take you through that and ask you your thoughts over here. When you played knight e6, bishop d7, as Judith was saying, this is something that surprised us. Knight a4 was the move that was being discussed by the Indians as well. Did you consider that at all?
So first of all, I was just really appalled by my play, especially that I'd gone e5 on move 17. That really is an unforgivable mistake. Like, you absolutely have to go queen a5 here. And I only noticed that this move was possible right after I'd made the move, which really upset me because I felt that after that his plan with hg6 was wrong, and I felt that after this move he has to make a really awkward move, I don't know, maybe bishop d2, and because it's not in time to protect f3 and play queen d2. So that kind of really upset me quite a bit. And the moment you were talking about in the game 96, sure, I didn't like that move one bit. I didn't know what to do at that point. I could go for some knight a4, put the bishop on b5, but I was worried that my pieces are just going to be stuck over there, that he's going to go, let's say bishop b5, that he's going to go rook d5, right? And then
yeah, I think this is the thing, that knight a4 after queen b4, we were also not even thinking, came to our mind a5, which is quite a shocking opportunity for you.
Oh, and then I have d5. Yeah, I was kind of considering trying to get some attack against a3, but it didn't. At this point, I just wasted so much time that I didn't see it.
All right, fair enough. And were you surprised with Jan's approach in the opening to go rook g1, g4, g5? This is something that you've played yourself. Did that surprise you at all?
Yeah, well, he played it against Anish, so it wasn't a shock, but I have to say I was just not well enough prepared. Like, I knew that g5 was a move there in the opening, sacking the pawn, but I just didn't know it well enough. And the third game clearly showed that I mean, I went to check my notes in between the games, and he immediately surprised me with a4, and then I went all wrong. So you could say in hindsight that this was not a great choice, but then on the other hand, I won with a knight off in the Blitz game, so it wasn't all that bad.
And also, just coming to the end of the game, at what point did you feel confident that in this pawn race you were the one who was ahead?
I didn't particularly think about it. I just thought there was no risk. and that sort of satisfied me. I guess after I got c6 h2, then I didn't see a way for him, and I believed I was winning. But
Yes.
these were like all just notions, not real calculation. Just because I was short on time, and I was just making as qualified as possible guesses there.
All right, fair enough. And game 2 was uneventful. Let's move on to game 3, because this was quite an exciting game, Magnus, and it was a repeat of the opening that Jan played in game 1. But this time you decided to accept the pawn on e4. This is something that you checked, but you kind of fell in a think tank pretty early on a4. So what happened here?
No, my notes didn't say a4. That was the problem. And I mean, I understood while I was playing that the idea had to be e5, a b5, but I mean, I half couldn't believe it, and I half just didn't see so much else. But clearly, my idea here was just flawed, since I'd missed this crucial detail, bishop d2, that he played later on. And here, I mean, I used up all my time, but I believed I was just lost. And in the game, yeah, he could have gone for rook a4 and move 16. I mean, yeah, the other rook. I saw that. I was intending to sack a piece and hope for the best without any line that you're showing there with this. Yeah, I'd probably take on h2 here. That was my hope, and you know, I'm a piece down, but the game sort of goes on. But what he played really surprised me, because I didn't think it was any good. But here I just went insane after he went queen h3. Because my intention had been to go bishop g5 here, and I didn't know how to evaluate it, but I thought for certain it's not dead lost. Like there must be some chances here, and then I just, for a second, I thought, isn't h5 even better? After he takes, I can go bishop e4, g6, and then bishop f5 protects mate, but that doesn't protect mate after the signs.
You mean bishop e4 here?
Yeah, bishop e4. Like, no, I mean, for whatever reason, in my half a minute of thinking, I thought g6, bishop f5 protects mate.
All right.
Because I think what he went for here with queen g4, queen h3 was kind of crazy. I mean, after bishop g5, I mean, there's no way that this is clear. And with the kind of position he had, you should have had a clear advantage at the early. So that was really upsetting. What happened here?
Yeah, so it was just a blind spot of missing this g6, queen h7, and actually you're totally right that in this position queen h3 was inaccurate and bishop g5 is the right move, but the computer just gives it as a perpetual after rook h7, bishop d2. It doesn't really find anything more than that.
Yeah, sure, but that's my point exactly, right? That he has kind of blown it at this point. And I mean, I'd spent all my time, but if I'd found bishop g5, I would definitely not have lost that game, which was really upsetting.
All right, fair enough. And then going into game 4, it looked like you had this clear approach that you wanted to kind of, you know, just calm down and go for the blitz. And Sasha said it as the Soviet approach that you lose a game, stop the tilt, balance things out, and then approach the next game. Was the whole idea of Game 4 just to balance it out and then enter Blitz?
Yeah, sure. As you said, I was just massively tilted after losing that third game, so I didn't particularly want to play. Then the Blitz was just a battle of nerves.
Yeah,
But
it was.
yeah, I was fortunate to come out ahead.
There was one interesting line here. I mean, the whole game was actually completely, it was very entertaining for us to watch. But like you said, the nerves seemed to play out. Here, this was something that Judith pointed out, which was quite stunning. Did you spot this during the game at all?
Yeah, I saw that this was a move, and I was hoping that I could take the knight. That was my calculation. But evidently I cannot.
Yeah, it just ends in a draw with the knight. King h8 is still a possibility, but it's the computer still gives that as better for black, but it's kind of hard to imagine improving after king h8 too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Rook d6 and then rook d8 is unstoppable.
Exactly.
No, that was that was kind of a shame. Because there was no reason not to exchange on g5 first. But I think there in the game, you know, there were a lot of repetitions going on there, and I'm always like 2 moves away from getting mated, so it's always going to be tricky. But I think at the end, the right result was reached there.
Okay, and then game 2 looked like Jan created some chances with the black pieces, but it was in control for you. And then suddenly things went wrong, and even on camera, around the point where you took on d5 with the bishop, you looked quite uncomfortable. What happened then?
No, I mean this was okay. I was just upset in general at the way that I played, but this in itself was fine. I'm getting rid of most of his pawns and steering it towards what should be a draw. So this was fine actually. I was just, as I said, upset with my generally poor play in this game.
All right, well, fair enough, Magnus. Congratulations on winning today. It was a very thrilling day 1. Just one last question before you go. That you and Jan are, of course, good friends, and you know there's a lot at stake here because Jan also is looking for a qualifying spot into the finals. How is it to play with so much at stake and with all these nerves involved, to play somebody you know this well, who you perhaps even worked with?
Yeah, it's obviously in the final it would be tough against anybody, but he sort of has more to play for than I do, in the sense that he can qualify for the final, and I'm already qualified, so I think you could see from his play as well that there were quite some nerves.
Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you tomorrow, and congratulations once again for today.